3 days after calling me a worthless disappointment who'd never make anything of myself, my mom went on Facebook to gush about her perfect son graduating with honors. Spoiler, it wasn't me. Then she picked up the phone and said, "We're throwing him a massive party. You're covering the catering. That's $2,000 due now." When I asked her why I should be the one paying, she snapped, "Because you owe us for being alive." I laughed, like really laughed, and told her, "I don't owe you a damn thing. You should be grateful I stuck around this long." That night, I did something I swore I'd never do. Now they're in full panic mode. My phone hasn't stopped buzzing. Mom's crying so hard she can barely speak. He says he won't walk the stage unless you're there. "Please, just come back. We'll do whatever you want." Honestly, this is mostly me needing to let it out. But if you've ever had parents who only remember you exist when they need something, you'll get it, or maybe not. I don't know. I'm not here for therapy advice, just saying. Anyway, a few days ago, right when graduation season kicked off, I noticed something strange. My mom's one of those people who treats Facebook like her personal blog, posting every little thing. But this time, she really went overboard. There was this picture of my brother Eli in his cap and gown. She wrote a massive post about how proud she was, how her incredible son was graduating with honors, how she'd never felt happier to be a mom. And of course, the post was public, like she wanted the entire internet to see. Naturally, I wasn't in any of the photos. Not one mention of me, not even a generic "congrats to both my sons." Just radio silence. But that's typical. What really gets under my skin, though, is that it's not like Eli's some kind of prodigy. He's just loud. He always has to be the center of attention, and my mom eats it up like candy. Meanwhile, I've always been the quiet one, just trying to keep my head down, stack some money, and eventually get out of this mess. But she's always had this thing for Eli. Always. I think it's because he looks more like her side of the family, and he's the kind of kid who knows exactly what to say to make her feel good about herself. It's like he plays the golden boy role, and she needs that so she can keep up her perfect mom act online. Me? I'm just the other one. So yeah, I saw the post. Not gonna lie, I was annoyed. But it's not like it was the first time. I wouldn't even have known about it if my cousin Chloe hadn't sent me a screenshot with a "WTF is this?" attached. I just laughed it off. I figured it'd fade away like all the other petty drama. But 3 days later, I'm standing in the kitchen when Mom walks in like a CEO about to fire someone. She starts in with the greatest hits. Why can't I be more like Eli? I'm lazy, I'm selfish, she's so disappointed. All the usual garbage. I let her rant. I barely listen anymore. I just stare at my phone, biting my tongue so I don't say something that'll make it worse. Maybe I should have seen it coming. But honestly, I was exhausted. So she finishes up, and just as I'm about to leave, she steps in front of the door and blocks me, says we're throwing a big graduation party for Eli. We want it to be special. You're paying for the catering. This isn't a request. She says it like it's already been decided, like it's just understood that I'll fork over $2,000 for a party I wasn't even invited to. I actually laugh out loud and ask her what the hell she's talking about. Why would I pay for that? And she yells, like really yells, that I owe them for the fact that I exist. Like that's a normal thing to say out loud. And she's not even embarrassed. She's furious that I'm not immediately handing her my debit card. At that point, something just snapped in me. I've taken this kind of treatment for years, being made to feel like a burden, like I'm in the way, like nothing I do is ever good enough. I pay rent, I cover my own bills, I barely even eat their food. I do my own laundry. I run errands for her half the time. But apparently that's all meaningless. I'm supposed to just hand over $2,000 so Eli can have his spotlight and she can post more proud mom selfies. Because it's always about Eli. Always. So I tell her flat out, I'm not paying. She gets louder, more unhinged. My dad walks in and, true to form, tells me to stop making things harder. He never picks a side, but somehow he always ends up backing her just to avoid conflict. I don't even waste my breath arguing. No point. Eli's nowhere to be found. Probably out with his friends or holed up in his room playing games, pretending the drama doesn't exist. That's his thing. Acts like he's above it all, but he's the first one to come crying to mom when he needs money or someone to go to bat for him. Then out of nowhere, she shoves me. Yeah, that was new. She's never gone physical before. I guess she really wanted to drive her point home this time. I take a step back. She tries to block me again, but I just walk around her. She slams the door behind me. I can still hear her screaming, but I'm already done. I head out to the garage just to cool off for a minute. I'm so pissed I can barely think straight. Maybe I should have seen it coming, but it still hit me like a truck. A few hours later, the family group chat starts going off like crazy. So apparently my mom's already gone ahead and told the whole family that I'm refusing to help with Eli's party and how deeply wounded she is by my betrayal. I start getting texts from my Aunt Carla asking what happened. I don't bother replying. It's not worth the energy. I've seen how this plays out too many times. If I say anything, it gets twisted until I'm the villain again. Like always. Then, not even 24 hours later, she calls me at work, totally unbothered by the fact that I'm busy. She jumps right in, saying she needs the money right now. Apparently, she already gave the catering company my name. My name. So if anything gets canceled, it's going to fall back on me. I tell her again, firmly, that I'm not paying, and that's when she completely loses it. Full volume meltdown. Says I'm ungrateful, that I've always been a failure, that after everything they've endured raising me, the least I could do is pay up. I'm not proud of it, but I laughed. I couldn't help it. I said, I don't owe you a damn thing. You should be grateful I stayed this long. She hung up on me. When I got home, the house was eerily quiet. Not a word from my dad. He wouldn't even look at me. Mom was in her room, slamming drawers and raging on the phone, probably telling her friends what a monster I've turned into. Eventually, Eli shows up for dinner. Doesn't say a word. Just shoots me this look like I personally ruined his entire existence. He gets that from her. That whole "you've ruined everything" energy. But honestly, I don't care anymore. I'm not paying for that party, not a cent. I'm not showing up. I'm not contributing. I know she's trying to guilt trip me into folding, but I'm done playing that game. I'm tired of being the fallback plan, the one they remember when something needs fixing. They don't get anything more from me. Not after this. The ironic part? I actually had money set aside for something important to me, but now, no way. She's not getting a single dollar. Let her explain to the guests why there's no food at the celebration for her precious perfect son. I'm not bailing her out. Not again. And you know what? I don't even care if they kick me out at this point. Let them try. If they want a war, fine. I'm not backing down, and this time I'm not the one who's going to lose. Next part gets wild because things started to really go off the rails. Let's just say Mom's perfect little event didn't go according to plan. Update 1. So after she pulled that whole "you owe us for existing" line, I figured they'd stay mad for a bit and then cool off like they always do. That's the usual pattern. I keep my head down, throw on some music, avoid contact, and let it pass. But this time, nah. Mom had that glint in her eye like she was about to make this her full personality. Next morning, I'm just trying to make a bagel, and she's already on the phone, loud enough for the neighbors to hear, talking about how some people in this house don't appreciate family. I try not to react, but she keeps glancing over at me like she wants a confrontation. I just leave and go take a shower. When I get out, my phone's blowing up, like 10 missed calls, all from a number I don't recognize. Turns out she actually gave the catering company my number. Now they're texting me, saying my order is confirmed and they're waiting on a deposit. At this point, I'm not even shocked, just irritated. I take a screenshot, send it to her, and tell her she can deal with it herself. She leaves me on red. I'm pretty sure she thought I'd panic and just pay to make it go away, but I'm not that easy to break. About an hour later, my dad gets home, and now he's stomping around the house like a storm cloud, slamming every cabinet in sight. The man barely talks to me unless the sink's clogged or he needs help lifting something, but now he suddenly wants a heart-to-heart. He calls me into the living room and hits me with, "You're being disrespectful to this family. It's time for you to step up and act like a man." Then he adds, "If you're not going to pay for the party, maybe you shouldn't live here anymore." I just look at him. I know he's parroting whatever Mom told him. He always does this. Plays the tough guy but never follows through because he knows how bad it would look if word got out. Still, I don't say a word. He grumbles something under his breath about how I'm pushing my luck and storms off to the garage, yelling at something, probably his phone. Then Mom comes back in, ready for round two. She starts going off again, saying she's never been so disappointed in her life, that I'm ruining Eli's big moment, that all she ever wanted was for the family to look good. She's obsessed with appearances, always has been. Online, she wants to be that perfect mom, the one with the happy family, the perfect son, the flawless party. Eli's graduation is her ticket to show off. She tells me she's already invited half the neighborhood, some folks from church too. If it all falls apart, that's my fault, apparently. She gets in my face again, tries to shove me. I sidestep and she stumbles into the table instead. Then she says, I'm not allowed at the party if I won't contribute. I tell her straight up. I wasn't planning on going anyway. By now, I'm not even sad. I'm just angry, really angry, and my phone won't stop lighting up. Text after text from family members. My Aunt Carla, a cousin, even some distant uncle I haven't spoken to in years. All of them asking what's going on. Why I'm being so difficult. I know exactly who fed them that story. So I send them the receipts. Just screenshots. The text from the catering company, a few messages from her. No spin, no drama, just facts. Some of them believe me, some of them don't. My cousin just texts, LMAO, classic Linda, which, yeah, fair enough. So I head to my room, sit on the edge of my bed, and start spiraling, wondering why I keep letting this crap happen. If I stay quiet, they get away with it. If I push back, suddenly I'm the problem. Fine. Let me be the problem then. If I'm already the villain in their story, I might as well embrace the role. I start thinking about ways this party could fall apart, and not just by refusing to pay. Nothing illegal, obviously. I'm not about to sabotage anything, but I sure as hell don't have to make things easy. First thing I do, call the catering company myself. I explain there's been a payment mix-up and that I never authorized any order. Told them straight up, if they don't hear from Linda soon with a deposit, they might want to cancel. The woman on the phone tries to stay cool, but I can hear the tension in her voice. I hang up feeling lighter. Then I find out Mom put me down as the main contact for the bakery too. Unreal. So I call them next. Tell them the same thing. I didn't agree to anything, and they need to speak directly to her, not me. They say okay. Now she's the one getting calls from confused vendors. She storms into my room like a hurricane and tries to snatch my phone right out of my hand. I yank it back and she slaps my arm. Not hard, but hard enough to send a message. I just look at her and say, you can't force me to fund your fantasy life. She doesn't answer, just storms out and slams the door so hard the mirror on my wall rattles. Later that night, I'm in the kitchen, sitting at the table with a drink, when Eli finally shows up. He walks in like everything's normal, acting like there's no tension. But I see the way he looks at her, then at me, like he's just waiting for someone to explode. He grabs a plate, sits at the far end of the table, and keeps his head down. Mom's glued to her phone, probably texting her allies. Dad's parked on the couch, staring blankly at some sports game. The room is quiet, but it's the kind of silence that feels like a bomb ticking. Eventually, Mom stands up and says, if this party falls apart, I'm telling everyone it's your fault. Then she adds, you don't deserve to be part of this family if you can't even help. I look her dead in the eye and say, then stop using my name to pay for stuff I never agreed to. She walks over and tries to shove me out of my chair. I stay exactly where I am. She gives up and heads to her room without another word. Dad turns to me and says I should apologize. I tell him to stay out of it. He shrugs and leaves, like always. The rest of my night, I spend it forwarding all of Mom's guilt trip messages to the family group chat. No commentary. Just screenshots. People start going off. Some are saying she's being ridiculous. Others are telling me to just suck it up and be a good son for once. I stop reading after a while. I'm not trying to win hearts. I just want them to see who she really is. By the time I head to bed, Mom's already posted a dramatic Facebook status about being betrayed from within and how family isn't always who you think it is. I don't even check the replies. I already know how this plays out. She'll keep cranking up the drama until someone pities her enough to take her side. Meanwhile, she's got a mess to untangle with the vendors, and guess what? I'm not lifting a finger. I know this isn't over. She'll keep pressing. Dad'll keep throwing empty threats. Eli will keep pretending none of it affects him. But this time, I'm not caving. If she wants to go to war, fine. I didn't light the match, but I'll be the one to burn it all down. Update 2. So I figured once I made it clear I wasn't paying, maybe she'd let it go. Nope. She doubled down. If anything, she just got louder, like actually louder. The next morning, I hear her on the phone in the hallway, supposedly talking to my dad while he's at work. But she's projecting like she's giving a TED Talk, clearly trying to make sure I hear every word. She's going on about how I've destroyed the family, how this level of disrespect is something she'll never recover from. Like I'm the villain on some daytime soap opera. Whatever. The weirdest part? Eli's actually awake early. He's in the kitchen pretending to scroll through memes, but the dude looks stressed. I didn't say anything, but come on. He never gets up before 10 unless something's up. Guess things hit different when it's his name on the party invite. Then the calls start again. First it's the cake shop, then a guy from the venue. They're asking if I'm confirming payment or if Linda is still handling it. I tell both of them the same thing. You need to talk to her. I'm not involved. From my room, I can hear her yelling into the phone. Then she yells at Dad. Then she goes back to yelling at the phone. My Aunt Carla starts texting me again, asking if I could please just pay this one time for the sake of peace. I send her the screenshots. Same as before. She replies, "Wow, didn't realize it was like that." Not sure if you've ever watched a family group chat go up in flames, but ours turns into a war zone. Just text after text, people taking sides. Some of my cousins say Mom's overreacting. Others pull the old "but family is family" guilt line and say I should just pitch in. I'm not arguing with anyone. I'm just dropping screenshots and muting the thread. Because this isn't about them. It's about me finally standing my ground. I'm not mad at them, really. I'm just done. Later that evening, Mom decides to switch tactics. She comes into my room and quietly closes the door behind her. Sits down on my bed like she's about to have a heart-to-heart. This time, she tries a softer approach. Says she just wants what's best for everyone. That she's under a ton of pressure. Then she says something I've never heard from her. She admits she knows I'm not like Eli, and that's okay. But I still need to step up, she says, for the family's sake. I shake my head. It's not happening. She asks if I could at least pay for half. Still no. She gets up, slaps her own thigh in frustration, not me, thankfully, and storms out again, slamming the door so hard everything on my dresser rattles. Next move? Plan C. She sends Dad back into the ring. He starts texting me from work, saying if I don't apologize and help out, maybe it's time I started looking for somewhere else to live. I reply with, "Sure, maybe I will." Apparently he wasn't expecting that because a few minutes later he sends another text. "Let's talk tonight." I don't even bother responding. Around lunchtime, Mom barges into the kitchen yelling that the caterer is threatening to pull out unless they get a deposit. She blames me, says I sabotaged everything, and now it's all falling apart. "It's your fault. Everyone will know it." I look her dead in the eye and say, "I'm not paying, and I'm not coming to your pretend party either." She tries to shove past me to grab my phone off the counter. I get to it first. She slaps my hand and hisses, "Stop trying to humiliate me." I fire back, "You're doing a great job of that yourself." And that's when Eli finally makes an appearance. He strolls out of his room like he's gracing us with his presence, full of dramatic sighs and martyr energy. Says if I've got the money, I should just pay. It's not that deep. And that I'm making Mom cry over nothing. I tell him to pay for his own damn party since he's the golden child now. He pushes me, not hard, but hard enough to send a message. I shove him back. Mom screams at us to stop, then kicks a chair across the floor like a toddler having a tantrum. I don't say anything. I just leave the kitchen. That night, I'm done, emotionally checked out. I pack a bag, just in case. Message a few friends to see if I can crash somewhere, if things get worse. I'm not worried. I'm just done. I can hear Mom in her room, crying on the phone to her sister about how I ruined Eli's graduation and how I've betrayed her in the worst way. She actually says, "I don't know what he wants from us. We've given him everything." I laugh under my breath. Everything except basic respect. Meanwhile, the family group chat has completely imploded. Relatives are asking why I'm being punished for not paying. Some are saying they won't even come if there's this much drama. I glance over and see Mom scrolling through Facebook, frantically deleting comments from her Big Eli post, people asking where I am, why I'm not mentioned, why I'm not in the pictures. She's scrambling to keep the story straight, but she's never been good at that part. The next day is supposed to be all about party prep, but the house is a wreck. Mom's glued to the phone, barking into it like a CEO in crisis. Dad's out in the backyard pretending to fix something he doesn't even care about. Eli's holed up in his room, sulking like a disappointed celebrity. I hear Mom crying again. Loud this time. Says she can't breathe. No one moves to help. Not even me. I grab my keys and leave to get coffee. Later, I get a text from Eli. First time he's texted me first in months. He asks if I'll at least come to the party, even if I'm not paying. Just to keep the peace, I leave him on read. Not happening. Not even for him. Then Mom tries something new, completely unhinged. She says if I don't help, she's telling the whole family I stole from them, which is just insane. I pay rent. I buy my own groceries. I handle my own life. I just stare at her and say, go ahead. Let's see who actually believes that. At this point, I genuinely don't care anymore. By dinner, it's radio silence. Mom makes food only for herself and leaves the mess in the sink. Dad eats alone in front of the TV. Eli microwaves something and disappears back into his cave. I eat out in the garage. Later, there's shouting, but I don't even flinch. I tune it out completely. What's wild is, for the first time, I don't feel guilty. I just feel done. Like actually, truly done. Right before bed, Mom shows up at my door. She knocks. I don't answer. She opens it anyway, stands there for a beat and says, I hope you're happy now. I tell her, I'm not, but I will be. She slams the door and walks off. And that's where things are at. Everything is unraveling, and I'm not lifting a finger to fix it. I meant what I said. I'm not paying. I'm not showing up. I'm not saving them from the mess they created. If they really want to find out what happens when they push too far, then let them. Let's see how far this goes. Next part's where it all goes down. The night before the party. The phones start blowing up like the house is on fire. I finally did the one thing I swore I'd never do. Final update. Here's how it happened. And no, I still can't believe they were actually surprised. They acted like I'd never stand up for myself. Like they really thought I'd keep eating the crap they've been serving for years. But eventually, even the quiet one snaps. It's the night before the party, and you can feel the tension like it's clinging to the walls. I barely see Eli all day. Just hear him stomping around upstairs, slamming his door every time someone gets close. Mom's in the kitchen on speakerphone with her sister, crying about how she doesn't know what went wrong, how nobody appreciates her anymore. No one says a word back. Dad was outside pretending to do yard work in the dark. Yeah, you read that right. Pitch black, and he's out there raking nothing like it's going to solve something. But whatever. Meanwhile, I was in my room, quietly packing a bag, just the basics. Nothing dramatic. I wasn't running away or making a scene. I just wasn't about to stick around for the grand finale. Here's the thing. I always told myself I'd hang in there. Put up with their chaos a little longer so I could save enough to move out of this house and into something better, even if it was just a glorified closet. But after everything that went down, I realized I'd rather crash on a friend's couch than keep feeling like garbage in my own home. So yeah, I did the one thing I swore I wouldn't. I left. No big speech, no yelling, no door slamming. I just left. But before I did, I left them a little parting gift. I printed out all the texts, Mom's guilt trips, the whole "you owe us for existing" saga. No extra commentary, just straight screenshots. I put them in envelopes, one for her, one tucked into Dad's sock drawer, and one slid under Eli's door. Then I dropped a photo of the envelopes into the family group chat with a single message. I'm out. Ask Linda why. After that, I blocked Mom, Dad, and Eli on my phone. Not forever, just until the party was over. And yeah, maybe that sounds petty, but honestly, they earned it. I texted my buddy Jasper, not my dad, a different Jasper, and asked if I could crash at his place for the night. He just sent back, "You're always welcome, bro." So I grabbed my bag, slipped out through the garage, and walked away. No one stopped me. No one even noticed I was gone. I got to Jasper's, and he handed me a beer without asking a single question. We put on some dumb show and just chilled, like nothing was wrong. Only weird part was my phone buzzing nonstop. Family group chat, Facebook DMs, a few calls from unknown numbers. I didn't check any of it that night. I just let the notifications pile up. Next morning, I wake up to a wall of missed calls, like 40 or more, and dozens of texts. The one that made me laugh the most came from my Aunt Carla. "Your mom's in tears. She says she can't breathe. You need to come home." Then one from Eli. "I can't do this without you. Please just come to the party. I'm not going on stage alone." Then Dad, "Come back. We'll do anything. Just fix this." Now they want to negotiate? Nah. Turns out, thanks to my cousin Chloe, who's probably the only level-headed person in the family, I found out the whole party was a disaster. The caterer never got paid. So they bailed. Half the decorations didn't show up either, because Mom never switched the contact name from mine to hers. So people arrived, realized there was no food, and started leaving. Apparently, Mom spent most of the night locked in the bathroom crying, saying she couldn't breathe. Dad tried to hold it together, but mostly just stayed pissed. And Eli? He wouldn't even go up for his big honors speech. Told everyone he couldn't do it without me. I didn't expect that, not from him. It didn't change my mind, but yeah, I was a little surprised. Later that night, I finally scrolled through the messages. It was full-on panic mode. Mom saying I humiliated the family. Dad accusing me of tearing down everything they built. Eli pleading with me to show up. Said he'd split the cost if I'd just be there. Even got the guilt trip. Do it for Lila Bennett. She's devastated. But you know what? Lila Bennett texted me too, and she said she understood why I left. So clearly she wasn't buying the melodrama either. Neighbors started asking questions. Mom tried to spin it like the catering company screwed up, but enough people had seen the receipts in the group chat. No one was buying her version. I didn't even have to say a word. I just stepped out of the blast zone and let them sit in the crater they built. By the end of the weekend, I got one last message from Mom. "You've made your point," I replied. "Yeah, I did. And that was that. I said I'd never just walk out. But I did. And I made them feel, for the first time, what it's like when the one person who always cleaned up their mess finally decides they're done. I'm still staying at Jasper's, keeping my eyes open for a new place. Nothing fancy. Just mine. And honestly, I don't regret a damn thing. It sucks to say, but sometimes family's just a title on paper. I've got other people, real people, who treat me with basic decency. If my family wants me back, that's fine. But it's going to be on my terms now, not theirs. And that's how it's going to stay. Thanks for sticking with me through all this. For real. If you're dealing with anything even remotely like this, just know. You don't have to keep taking it forever. You really don't.